Dun, da, da, da. Starting live broadcast in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I like how Facebook gives us the countdown. Hi, you guys. Welcome. May 31st. Whoop, whoop, new month. Hi, Kate. Hi, Ashley. Hello, guys. Say hello as you're coming in. I love it. Let me just make sure we're up and going. So I'm on my personal Facebook, Jill, personal profile, streaming right now. So if you could go check the connection and give me a quick thumbs up. How are you guys? I wasn't here last week and I'm like, I was just out for a run. So I'm a little overheated. Can you hear me, Mary? Can you guys hear me over on Facebook? Somebody said they can't hear me. Someone give me a... that I'm okay over there. Hi, missed you guys too. Oh, thank you, EO Valerie. You got your leadership magazine. Do you know, I don't have a copy yet. So if you're in doTERRA land and you have hit the rank, I believe, of manager or above, you will have received this month's leadership magazine, right? And hello, me and my family are on the cover. It was awesome. Awesome to be recognized on there. What a journey it's been. I don't have a... okay, thanks, Wendy. I don't have a copy of it yet, but I'm going to do a scavenger hunt online as soon as my copy comes in. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to give away a bunch of fun product and take you guys through a quick, like, flip the pages kind of deal of the magazine. So thank you for that. Yeah, I was just out for a run. It was funny. I ran into Susan, who is a diamond leader on my team. She was at Pilates. I'm out for a run. It's like London's turning into this healthy version of Pleasantville. I love it. We did our wellness summit with doTERRA last weekend. Tap the screen if you were there. We had 1,200 people come. It was actually the largest wellness summit, I believe, this year for doTERRA. We were last year too. So London knows what's up, and it was awesome to have this collective of people in the same room who are on these incredible health journeys, equipping themselves with the tools, surrounding themselves with people who get it, right? That's super important. Community is really important. And that was so awesome to see. So yeah, London is turning the page when it comes to empowerment. You know what I just noticed? They're out spraying pesticides today. I'm not so happy. I need to keep my eye on this. I was out for a run, as I said, and thank you, Amy, for volunteering. I was out for a run, and I'm running by this YMCA, which is near our house right now, and they're out spraying the lawn, right? They've got like the big chemical sign up, you know the drill. Like some of you might spray your lawn. I'm not judging that at all. I just, you know, I actually would rather get rid of all grass and plant a lot of trees, so we create more healthy air to breathe without the temptation to constantly be cutting our lawn and spraying it with chemicals. Anyway, that's for another day. But I'm like, the irony, right? I'm running, yes, herbs and lettuce, right? I'm running past the Y, and their slogan sign or whatever is out on the front about how they create healthy families. They're a haven for that. And here's the guy like, you know, spraying all the chemicals. It's just, you know, if the lights are on, you see this stuff, right? Like you understand how ridiculous that is. It's one of those things we all grew up around, for sure. But you gotta think twice. Now I see them out spraying, so I might have to go into Mama Bear role in like 5 minutes. Stay tuned. All right, so anyway, welcome if you are brand new to The Scope. We're streaming over on Facebook on my personal profile. Hi, Facebook. I can see your comments there. And we've got about, 130 or so on Periscope at the same time. My assistant Jill is on. She'll be collecting questions when we get to the Q&A today. And Jill, if you could, over on Facebook, post the playlist link. This weekly recording is uploaded to YouTube. So when you have a bit of a rainy day, then you can go check those out if you want to see what we tend to jam about on here. Welcome if you're brand new. My name is Ange Peters. I'm the founder of WholeFit, which is a brand that turned into a powerful community. I launched my business about 8 years ago, and I often do talk about what it takes to be a business owner. I love answering questions about what it takes in those early stages too, because I get it, and I get the work that we need to put in to create something incredible. And my whole business model shifted three and a half years ago when I incorporated doTERRA Essential Oils, which is a network marketing opportunity. Those of you with an interest in living a truly free life, you are likely looking at network marketing. It is the only way. It is the better way, absolutely. And people like myself, we integrate it because we're smart. And we know that we want to first walk out a free life so we can then offer that opportunity to other people. And I have been blown away at what has happened in such a short time on our team. Actually, every month continues to grow and grow. It is insane the amount of people that get this, right? That are the visionaries, that see that what we're raised to believe is a little bit of a shenanigan. And if you get this early on enough in your life, like if you're listening right now, you're still early on enough. There's a lot of people that won't get it, but to be honest, this opportunity, this business, has changed my life and has changed so many people. We're now approaching 30,000 people on our Whole Fit team all across the world that use the oils. So the bulk of our community is made up of customers that, you know, just want to rock it out. They get that we are fed a certain message, and at some point we have to take ownership of our health. Now, some of those people have, you know, a couple thousand have transitioned into building a wellness business on our team, and this is how the movement is happening. So I say that because that is the majority of the work I do today. As somebody in the health space, yeah, Christy, I speak the truth. Truth Talk Wednesday, right? I am very focused on removing excuses for people, providing massive value, and offering people the opportunity to change. Not looking to change you. I don't care about that. I'm not interested in changing you. None of our team is. But if you're somebody who gets why you need to change, we're here. You know, the doTERRA movement is unbelievable. It is incredible. Over 4.5 million people in 9 years. This isn't a pitch. I'm not trying to pitch people on it. I'm talking about this today because my topic for our scope today is about how it looks when someone is taking ownership of their life. The questions that they ask themselves when freshness is coming in order to really move the needle in their health. And it's just that I have seen so many people do that through what I've been a part of, okay? And that's why I'm speaking about it. But this can take many forms, right? You might work with a different tool. You know, the people that we tend to attract are the ones who at some point tried something and didn't get instant results. Like, let's say they saw, you know, a health blogger talk about the power of spirulina, increasing energy. So, you know, you trot down to the health food store and you buy yourself a packet of spirulina. It looks weird, it smells weird, absolutely, and it's expensive, and you know, and you add it to your smoothie one day and you don't feel any different, and then you get really upset. This is the way the majority of us all start, so you're not alone. But we tend to attract that type of person to the oils because they do like instantly get an upgrade. Like, you know, it doesn't get much simpler than grabbing a bottle of peppermint and putting a little bit on my temples or adding a drop to my hand and breathing it in when I'm in a funk and I'm like instantly energized, right? So this is why, this is the tool. But anyway, you can choose many different tools. What I wanted to talk about today is, regardless of what you're involved in or what, you know, business you might be in, or maybe you're not, maybe you work for someone else, maybe you're in a corporation, but you have this suspicion that no one's going to be able to create the kind of life you're wanting to live for you, right? If you're on this broadcast, I know you get that. We talk about this a lot, that that next level life, your best life, is actually waiting for you to follow through. It's waiting for you to take action on the things you have been putting off. It's waiting. It's like literally on the other side of what you're doing. and it's waiting for your follow through. And so as I was looking at the calendar today, you know, I've got a super busy day today. I'm going to stay on with you guys for about 40 minutes, but I have a ton of growth happening around me and my team. I need to be there for them. We need to look through things. There's a lot of growth happening. It's the end of a month. But what I was thinking about you guys for this broadcast today, I was thinking about how many of us have this opportunity to change it up, to do something different with a brand new month. Like, it's super exciting, right? I love a brand new month. I love how fresh it is, only because I interpret a brand new month or a new season as this opportunity to evolve and to get better, right? Who's getting better in this group? How many of you are on this path where maybe you do this? Maybe you take some time to reflect on where you're at so you can properly plan where you're going. Now, what I'm going to guide you through right now, it's important that you at least are aware of your life, how you're spending your time. So if you are not somebody who schedules your day, or you know, maybe you don't use a paper schedule or something like Google Calendar, which I live by. If you don't do that, then you are relying on a really strong memory. Hopefully you have really strong memory and acute awareness of how you're spending your time and how it feels. Most people can't work that way. So if nothing else from this topic today, maybe one of the things you take away is you want to become more intentional with your time. That, you know, you're going to visualize every day how it's going to feel, but you're going to do this the night before. And you're going to be clear on what priorities you need to do. What's the one or two things in your personal life or in your business that you know you need to do tomorrow to move the needle just a little bit, like that extra 5%. If you are not doing that every day, then you need a new system. And so one of the best things about this exercise is if you are currently using a system, then it tells the story of your life. Like, I can look back at my Google Calendar right now and I can see the story of my life on paper. I can see who I spent my time with. I can see the projects I was working on. I can see the things that I didn't get done because I kept dragging them from week to week. This is actually, I mean, and if you're using a paper calendar, you're scribbling out, right? And you're adding it to the next day or next month. So I like the story that tells me, because it tells me that I am aware, that I'm working with my time with intention. Did you guys know that 40% of what we do in a day, we don't even think about? I first heard that from my friend Tiffany Peterson. She shared on a video. Go check out her YouTube, by the way. It's really helpful if you're somebody looking to up your time honoring game. This isn't really about time management. There's no such thing. You're not managing time. You're not a manager of your time. You're honoring your time. If you have a schedule and you're somebody interested in being a leader, then you're becoming good with your time and your boundaries. That's honoring you to fulfill what you know you need to get done. My friend Tiffany Peterson has a whole channel on this, so go check her out. But I remember years ago hearing her talk about this study out of Duke University where they found that any given person, at least 40% of what they do every single day, they're not even thinking about. It's so routine and habitual. And when we know that, that's a little frightening, because if you actually aren't moving the needle in the direction you want to go, there's a lot of your day that you're not even thinking about that is keeping you stuck. So this is why a fresh month is so important. Calendars help us, time helps us if we're somebody who wants to live an all-out awesome life. If you're somebody who, you don't care what day of the week it is or what season it is or what you're doing each day, then life is just happening. And you're probably not creating or co-creating your best life. So I'm not saying you need to schedule every hour of your day like I do. That is a personal system I use to ensure that I am a forward-moving train, that I am always growing, that I am always evolving. I schedule every hour. I'm very intentional with where I give my time. So that when I look back and I see everything I did in a day, it's not this thing where 40% of it was just habit. Now, there are things that, yes, you want to just not be thinking about. You want to create I just use Google. Yeah, I've got different colors for every bucket. If you can get to the point where the things that you want to have happening in your life, so you've like blueprinted them, like your morning routine or your evening routine, it'd be awesome if you didn't have to overthink that, because that's actually draining your decision-making ability. So if you can lock and load a good routine, especially in the morning, you guys, it takes at least 3 weeks to get these habits in place. So let's say you get a routine going where you get up a little bit earlier than the house, you have a specific drink or a specific, like a bulletproof coffee or something in the morning, you listen to something that develops your mindset, maybe you go for a walk. If these are things that are happening without you even thinking about it anymore, that's the goal. But you don't want this 40% habitual type of living to be the stuff that's not moving you forward, right? That makes sense? So for today's broadcast, I wanted to give you some questions to write down as you are approaching this new month. Take some time tonight. Honor this process. Maybe you go and you pour yourself a nice bath tonight and you sit with these questions and you get real with yourself. This is why people don't grow. This is why people don't achieve their goals, is they're not being real with themselves. They're not being honest. They're being lazy. They're slacking off where they shouldn't be. And only you know what that looks like. I'm not telling you you're lazy, but you know if you are, right? And hey, this is not for everyone. Some people have probably popped off this scope already because they think I'm crazy to talk about living an intentional life. That's totally cool. Like some people, they rock out the flow. They have no interest in knowing where their time goes. I know people like that. This is not for them. This is for you, the achiever, okay? So these questions I'm going to ask you to write down. These are, what's going on with this hair? I need to cut it. These questions I'm going to ask you, these help you cross the barrier to entry to living an incredible life, okay? There is a barrier to entry to all of this. When you see people like us who are living life clearly very different in every way, in joy, in health, in financial wellness, in impact, in influence, when you see us doing this kind of life, you know a barrier to entry has been crossed. I posted this to my business team this week. I asked them, what do you think is the barrier to entry for most people? I'm going to get to the questions. I'm purposely putting you off right now with that. I want to read some of their comments. My question to them was, what is the barrier to entry for most people? Whether you're talking about, let's say, a lot of you I know on this broadcast do doTERRA, right? You build doTERRA, you share the oils of people. You probably have this large collective of people who at some point have come to you and been like, oh my gosh, I need to get the oils now. I had this issue yesterday. I was thinking about you and all you share, and I've got to get started. And then crickets, right? You never hear from them again, or they never really get going. The reality is there was a barrier to entry for them. So there was some reason, there was a bridge they were not confident enough to cross in order to actually start living their best life. Now, for a lot of people, this is their self-worth. So a lot of people would much rather go through the drive-through lane at Starbucks to get a venti frappuccino at 3 o'clock than to realize that a bottle of peppermint is pennies per drop. Because what we're talking about here is the quick fix versus the worth that needs to be in place for someone to live a life of prevention and awesomeness, okay? To use something that's going to actually support your body in healing as opposed to keeping it depressed, right? This is a big topic. Now, this is the barrier to entry for most people in living an incredible life, is they actually don't feel like they're worth it. And this is, this type of person, which is a lot of us, right? A lot of us start off anything new that we know we need to do, this feeling of I'm not worth that life is actually there. We need to acknowledge that. This barrier to entry will cause you not to live intentionally with your time, to not look at a brand new month like this fresh opportunity. So, let that land a little bit. Maybe one of your questions, this wasn't one of the 3 I was going to give you today, but maybe one of your questions is, how worthy are you of living your best life? What would that look like? because you might be surprised at what comes out on paper. You may think like, oh yeah, one day I will do that. I'll live all these things. I'll do all these things. But when you actually consider what it might take to get there, you're not going to do the work if you feel like you're not worth what's on the other side of that. So, you know, it's not as simple as people not knowing how to do it anymore. I liked one of these comments. Some people feel like Dr. Knowledge reigns supreme. So until there's a mass shift, there are a lot of people who want to outsource their power. They want to wait for someone to tell them it's okay to use this oil, or here is your roadmap to amazing living. No one's going to do that for you, right? This is the challenge. This conversation is huge, you guys. You know, to understand that what's separating you from your best life is actually there are areas of your life you're still outsourcing. There are people you're giving your power to, whether that is a system, the government, the school system, healthcare, your doctor, your mother, your friend, your husband, your wife. There are people that, for a lot of people, they give their power away every day, so they actually don't feel like they're worth living this incredible life on the other side. So a lot of the comments from my team were really around that. They get the issue, and this is, you know, a lot of what I talk about with the wellness leaders on my team is how important it is to just live it, to be the example. So because that is what people feel. Change is an energy. It's realizing that the person who can actually influence the most and guide us in the best way is the person who's already there, not the person who talks a good game. And man, do we ever live in a day where everyone's an expert, right? So check in with people's energy. You know, find the people that are living the life that speaks to what they talk about. Rule number 1. Okay, let's go through some questions. And I would love for one of you to comment with what comes up for you as you think about a brand new month, okay? So my first question is, where can you give more? Where can, you know, I remember Danielle Laporte saying, make generosity part of your business plan, you know, part of your life plan, because it will always come back to you. So my first question is, who can you focus on elevating this month? Whether that's through resources, if you own your own business, you know, if you think about who you're actually impacting, what are they needing more of? Where can you solve a problem? Where can you elevate them this month? Even if you don't own your own business, who in your life do you want to give to with your time, with your prayer, with your focus? Who needs that love? So start from that place. You know, if you're approaching this whole thing with this attitude of what can I get out of this? If that's where you're starting, if that's the lens, you probably won't get there. If you can focus on how you can elevate other people through what you're focusing on, that's the goal. So that's question number 1. Question 2 is, what is most important to you right now? So if you attended the broadcast I did at the start of this year, it was called Creating Your Beautiful Life Blueprint. Okay? Thanks, Shannon. If you attended that, then I talked about the quadrants of a fulfilling life. So we have, you know, physical health, right? We have family and relationships. We have financial health. It is absolutely a part of it. You cannot be free and fulfilled if you are broke and in debt. That needs to be at some point part of your focus this year. And then we have emotional health or self-care, honoring self, right? So if you think about your life in those 4 quadrants, there is always going to be one that is on your heart where you know you need to shift your focus to. So as you think about this next month, think about what area in your quadrant of life needs more love. What would an extra 5% in this area look like? This is a very important question, because let's stop all this like blue sky thinking. Let's blueprint this. If somebody give me, you know, what first hit your heart when I asked you that? What do you know you need to give more love to when it comes to that quadrant? Throw up an answer. Let's do some on the spot coaching right now. Okay, Evie, Sarah, I can't read your last name. I'm going to use your comment. You said self-care. So I want you to be specific. I want you to try to drill that down a little more. Self-care, pretend I never have talked about that before. What does that mean? What is self-care? So let's go. I'm looking for you to respond back if we could here. Self-care to you, what does that even mean? It means a different thing to every person. So you need to convince your brain of what this is. I'll give you like 10 more seconds to respond. What does self-care look like? Decreasing stress, she said. Okay, so again, we need to drill that down. So self-care to you right now, your lack of self-care is showing up because you're in the way that you're very stressed. So let's drill it down again. Reducing stress is going to involve you getting real with where the stress is coming from, right? So first of all, what is super clear to you? What is the most stressful thing going on in your life? And everybody who is answering right now, I see a lot of comments happening, do the same thing. See how super specific you can get this answer. Because then once you have that done, you can easily take that knowledge and blueprint it into your schedule, right? Because if you're clear on what the base is, the issue behind the issue, then you can actually schedule success to happen. Okay, so Evie said the pressure I put on myself to be the best ... Okay, so that is pretty specific. Now, she wasn't feeling comfortable saying what that is, right? She just wrote ... So it's this general sense of I am not enough. So there's that worth issue, right? I am not this enough. I'm not that enough. I could never do what person ABC has done, right? So that comparison game is there. So what self-care actually looks like to Evie or Evie, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, is pausing in the moment to remind herself that she is worthy of living a beautiful, incredible life, whatever that looks like to her. Her whole focus this month needs to be the conversation she's having with herself. Because if somebody's saying, I need more self-care, okay, and self-care looks like I need less stress, okay, and the main stress is I am not enough. So it's this dialogue that's happening internally, because people on the external will always treat you how you allow them to. So if you're always giving off the impression that you're not good enough, guess what? People are going to treat you that way. Absolutely. So your work this month, if all you did was paused in the moment when you're telling yourself these things and instead reminded yourself that you are absolutely, what's the right word? I'm trying to think, like, life doesn't play favorites. You are just as entitled to live your most beautiful life as that person you're comparing yourself to, right? This is your work. So if you just left it at self-care and you said, you know what, I think I need more self-care, that's what resonated. If you didn't break that down enough, that might mean you start taking baths every night this month, and the real loving hasn't happened because you haven't acknowledged the root. So you can do this in anything, you guys. And what I want you to think about is how specific can you drill it down to understand. Now, for some of you, it might mean taking a bath every night, right? Like that might be the work, because you never create space for yourself. You never check in with yourself. And that's a really great way to solve that problem for yourself. So maybe that is what you do for a whole 30 days. And you probably won't focus on that next month, because something will shift this month as you do that. But I want you to think about what would a couple of inches in that area look like every day? Awesome, Evie. She said that's exactly what I need to hear on it. Thank you for sharing. What would a couple of inches, or what would that extra 5% look like on a daily basis to honor what's coming up for you from this question, where you know you need to focus and what needs more of your time or your love this month. It won't be the same thing next month. This is the beauty of life. We are always growing, we are always evolving. And another question I like to ask kind of within that is, what is the minimum you could do? Okay, so rather than being somebody who says, okay, what came up for me is I've gained 10 pounds in the last, 2 months, let's say, and I know I need to exercise more. Now, unpack that, because exercise might not be the reason you've gained 10 pounds. Uh-oh, I think I went frozen on Facebook. One sec. I can see myself stuck in a pose. So exercise, you need to unpack it, because the weight gain might not be because you haven't been exercising, right? It could be something deeper than that. But let's say that's what you chose as what you're going to do this month, and you're going to do something like minimal. If you're somebody who has never really succeeded in your goals, it's because you have likely been always setting the bar way too high. Maybe you say, okay, I'm not exercising, so I'm going to get up every morning at 5 a.m. and I'm going to go to the gym for an hour. That will happen for maybe one day, and then you quit, and then this cycle begins of you feeling, worse about yourself, right? So rather than do that, focus on what's the minimum you could do, especially if you're somebody who feels as though you can never quite move the needle. For some reason, you keep quitting on yourself. You're probably making the goal way too big. Okay, so check in with yourself. This is an important question of the 3 questions. The last question is, what if it is up to you to design your best life? What if it is up to you? What if no one's going to do this for you? Oh, my computer just shut off. I don't know why. Sorry. We'll have people probably hopping over from Facebook. I'll see if I can get it back on. What if it's up to you, right? What if you need to change your thinking to create that better life? What if you need to spend time with different people? What if that's what's separating you from your best life? What if it was up to you? What would that look like? And so this really comes into a new month, taking ownership of your time and really thinking about, if it is up to me to create my best life, what then do I need to do? What does that look like? What is the minimal thing I need to do to start moving in that direction? Okay? So again, I'll remind you, everything you're thinking of, you're dreaming of, you're visioning for your life, for your family, it is waiting for you to follow through. And it doesn't need to be big. It doesn't need to look like an hour every morning at the gym. It just needs follow through. It needs you to say, this is what I'm going to do, and you don't stop doing that until you have shifted, until you've moved the needle there. Yeah, they are. They're still spraying outside. Facebook, I lost you. I'm going to pull it back up here and see if we can get back on. But we're only going to be together actually for another 10 minutes or so. So I'll just, I'm going to go through. I have some questions I took out of the queue. So I'm not able to see our Facebook questions. I'll go through them this weekend. We'll comment on a few of them. But there was a couple questions I thought were really good, so I wanted to acknowledge these on the broadcast and take them. And if you guys have any thoughts or sub-questions to these topics, please post them below. So this comes, I don't have her name, but she said, I'm always teaching during your scopes, but I have a question for you and the community. How do you keep on keeping on? Are you on point with self-care and life and business and family 24/7? I have high expectations for myself because I know I'm meant for great things. So when I lapse, I can be self-destructive. What's your reality? How long did it take for habits to stick? This question came up a couple of weeks ago. It might have come up live in the broadcast. I wanted to read it again for those of you that weren't part of that conversation. This is exactly what we're talking about today, is that feeling of not being enough, right? This is why action and follow through is so important for your confidence, because if you are always setting the bar too high, or you're not checking in with where you're spending your time, and knowing that needs to change. I mean, if you're just kind of going through the motions, you're always having the same goals and you're always spending your time around the same people, if things are not moving forward, am I cutting out? Maybe the chemicals outside are wrecking my Wi-Fi. If you're not moving in the right direction, it's time for a change. Stay inspired. Now is the time, with a brand new month and a brand new season, to start changing your routes, the way you drive to work, the things you're doing in your physical health, the people you're spending your time with. Now is the time to change that, because you write the rules. There is no game plan for your life, for your success. It's up to you. So I love this question, because we all feel this at times. We compare ourselves to other people. This is an internal game, you guys. I mean, when we look on the outside and we see people, rocking it, and we tend to compare ourselves, we don't know the internal game that's going on there. We don't know all the things that they feel like they're not doing to the best of their ability. As long as we are always growing, that is the goal, right? Second question was tips on approaching or sampling their scared list. So this person is building a doTERRA business and wants to reach out to people who are on her chicken list, so local celebrities or bloggers. Someone is saying that I keep freezing. Ashley, I see you're on. Can you comment if we're cool? I don't know why it would keep freezing. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. I assure you, this is because of all the chemicals being sprayed in my neighborhood right now. All right. I don't hear anybody on here. I'm going to keep going. This will record and I'll upload it to the playlist. So tips on approaching people you're scared to approach. Here's the tricky thing. Somebody who has a celebrity status or a big reach, someone you're wanting to reach out to, they're not going to really be interested in what you're doing if you operate like a 1 or a 2 in a world full of other people who might be operating more on their level of a 9 or a 10. And I say this with love, because that is what the amateur will do. The amateur will reach out to big shots on their list before they have done the work, before the amateur has done the work to become more of the pro, even if it's not on paper. Don't waste your time thinking somebody who lives at, a 9 or a 10, who has a huge reach, who, in the words of this person who asked the question, is a local celebrity or a very well-known blogger, for example. Yeah, you probably have something that they would love. If you're in doTERRA and you're using oils, and somebody like this who this would totally align with their message, right? It would totally fit in with the work they do. But your life speaks a different message. If your life doesn't speak vitality and abundance, and I'm not talking about wealth in terms of money, you don't have to be a diamond rank leader in doTERRA to approach these people, but you need to live like a diamond would right now. Don't waste your time approaching these people. They feel that, and they're going to know you don't have something for them. So do the work. Do the work, because, am I freezing? Okay, I'll just keep rolling here. Do the work so that you are at a point eventually where you could go for lunch with a person like that and share all the things you're up to, all the lessons you've learned because of this journey. Let your life speak for you, so that when you make it all about them, they know you can guide them in that direction. I'm going to take one more question. I think I'm freezing quite a bit. So the last one was inspiration when you're feeling stuck at a rank. Oh, thanks, Ash. I don't know what's up.